The next category is much more open-ended. The first two categories were kind of asking you to work with particular stock characters, Star Wars or animals. The next category is more topical based. It's not about the meme itself, it's what the meme is about. I don't know if that makes sense. So basically, I'll just say it. We're asking for memes that are somehow reaction memes, a reaction to something that's happened to you. Let's say you get cut off in traffic and you want to make a meme about that. Or your roommate does something horrible and you want to make a meme about that. So they're memes that are reactions to something that's happening to you in personal life. I mean, it could be your personal life, it also could be like more broadly something in the current event.
Right.
So,
I think that basically says it all.
Yeah. And using the kind of language that we talked about yesterday, we want these beams to be, if they're punching any direction, to punch up. Okay. So reaction GIFs. Memes.
Reaction GIFs. Reaction memes.
Okay. You want to talk about this one?
I think that this one's actually a really interesting example that sort of complicates the conversation that we were having in the past couple days about like consent in memes and like what it means to like put a human child, on the internet, for example. Because so this little boy is known as Gavin. He's sort of internet famous at this point. Beyond being a meme,
Yeah.
he sort of is represented in different. I don't know, like vlogs, and sometimes on YouTube series he comes up and it's just a shout out from Gavin. So him and his family clearly have some kind of different relationship than most children would have if their image was
Right.
blasted all over the internet. But his face became most popular because of the way he makes these very intense sort of faces. Pained adult faces. He makes these faces that are just, he's been through so much as the 6-year-old.
Right.
So this is a situation we can all relate to. When you put on new socks, then step in the water.
It is, I mean,
Gotta
literally
hate that.
this has happened to my son.
Yeah.
And his face isn't nearly as good as that though. No offense to my son. What another reaction?
Oh, this is great. I love this one. So this one says, when people ask what you're going to do with a GSS major, and this might be a Davidson specific
inside,
meme, right?
yeah.
So it's a little bit of an inside group. So for those who are in the outside, I'm going to loop you in. GSS is our Gender and Sexuality Studies major, and it's a very much so like growing in popularity major at this college, I would say, as well as just department. A lot of people are choosing to take courses in it because of the ways that it prepares you to be a citizen in our world, and also the ways that it can professionalize in a lot of different ways. However, for a lot of people coming from a more like traditional academic background, or I guess thinking about like the academic canon, it's something that's unfamiliar or new or foreign. So a lot of times people who are declaring a GSS major are met with a lot of either criticism or sort of just this real intense, harsh, like, well, what are you going to do with your life? Like, haven't you figured out what you're doing with everything in every single situation? And I think that that's really what this memist was trying to capture here, right?
So it's when people ask what you're going to do with the GSS major, and on this shirt?
And on this shirt.
Can we scroll down a little bit?
And so this is another example of, again, complicating the idea of using other people's bodies in memes. Like the memist actually chose a picture of herself to represent the reaction she wanted to convey.
Right.
To
So
the audience, right?
there is total agency and consent here, right? Sanjari's over there.
Over there, laughing, giggling, enjoying this experience.
And this is her own picture that she posted.
But
turning
clearly
herself
she's
into
making
a
a
meme.
face of dismay. She's making a really upset, like, why would you even ask that? What were you thinking when you said that? And this shirt is actually the Gender and Sexuality Studies major shirt at Davidson College, and it represents a lot of the famous gender studies theorists who really question a lot of these ideas of professionalism and how coded and gendered and racialized and everything that is. So I think that this is like a really good example of this type of reaction.
I mean, and not just theorists. They're writers and poets and people have really profoundly shaped kind of our understanding of gender and sexuality in the United States. Something else, just for a little bit of context, what are you going to do with a GSS major? Just a few years ago in North Carolina, like very explicitly, the former governor of North Carolina, Pat McCrory, like explicitly called out gender and sexuality studies as something that shouldn't be taught at public state universities. And so this is kind of like
this is my face when Pat McCrory says that. That's my reaction.
That's the response to that. So this is a really great kind of personalized, but also political, because personal is political, reaction.
Hashtag gender theory teaches us things.
Right. Okay. So let's look at another one. Reaction.
So another Davidson
Yeah,
specific
so
meme.
we've talked a lot about in the past few days, like insider outside groups and how much you need to know in order to understand a GIF or meme. A lot of people can relate to the Star Wars GIFs, even if they haven't watched all 13,000 movies and comics and everything. Here's an example that's much more kind of insider knowledge.
And I think it's kind of insider knowledge. Like, to an extent, you
Yeah.
might be able to look at the gym image and like know what that means out of context. But I think to an extent, it's like two types of insider, right? It's like the insider of what is the actual text talking about, like what is this F thing? If you don't go to Davidson College, which is a building on campus. But also
It's
the
not
idea
just
of
a
the
building,
office,
come
right?
on.
Okay, it's a building. There's a lot added to it. It's known as the party apartment complex on campus, and that's a lot that people wouldn't know unless they were actually here or had friends or people that were talking about it frequently.
And Libs is the library.
Yes.
So
yes. Colloquial terms.
You know, someone's working in the library very hard, diligently working, and there's that loud party music happening, and this mixed emotion that you have. There's the fear of missing out, but also knowing you shouldn't be there. You're
like looking through the, like, oh man, I
Yeah.
wish I was over there, but I'm here.
right.
Yeah.
I think in the actual office sequence, I think the blinds close right after this moment.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. Another level of insider, right? Because it
Yeah.
also is referring to the specific moment in the
right,
office.
right. Cool. Other reactions.
Are there other reactions that are maybe not Davidson specific?
Yeah, were there any on Instagram too?
Oh yeah, well, do we get into Instagram or not yet?
Okay.
Alrighty.
The text is a little small. I don't know if people.
So I guess I could read it out loud.
narrate it, yeah.
The text does say, men demonstrating emotional maturity. And then there's a button. There's a blue button that says nut on it. So this is a common meme template where people will be smacking the blue button. Like, it's like, I can't wait to hit that button because of this thing. So there's a lot going on here. I'm going to leave it to the audience to process a little bit about
I don't
what
get
this
it.
could mean in
I
different
don't have
contexts.
not sure I have the emotional wherewithal right now. So.
Oh, and we have some memes coming from Instagram too. Is that what's going on? Thank you.
So,
We like emotional
meanwhile, checking up on time, how are we doing, and when are we going to switch to the wholesome memes? Do we have a timeline for that?
I think we'll switch right after a couple of these reaction memes from
You guys have
Instagram.
some wholesome memes for us back there?
Get them going.
Uplift? Not yet.
Upload them. We want to see
We'll give
them.
you a few more minutes. Okay, so let's go back to the reaction memes.
Okay, so this is a reaction.
As I said at the beginning of this, if you don't know what to meme about, do a meta meme.
This is
Make
a great
meme
example of
about
this.
meta. Memes of exhaustion, they're called. When you're sick of making memes, you make memes about how you're sick of making memes. So
So this is a reaction GIF of Shrek. I don't remember Shrek making this face ever. I'm curious, honestly, to the meme creator if this is a photoshopped image that was saved or if this is a part that I don't remember
Right.
where he's bashful and a little bit
well, I mean,
unsure. But
this step away, I also think something that happens a lot is things that are in moving pictures, motion pictures, look normal, but when you get that specific
Yeah, you get
freeze
the
frame of
perfect
that
moment of
awkward
it.
moment,
Yes.
this is what happens when you shift from one form of media to another.
Yes.
You kind of suddenly see it in a new way, and you can make it do things that the original context really
Wouldn't
didn't
allow
allow.
for, yeah. Can we switch to the next one?
Oh, people are airdropping memes.
Wow,
too.
this
great.
is really techie.
I'm taking screenshots.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, this is both a reaction meme and a wholesome meme. So if you are having trouble understanding what a wholesome meme is, this is like the definition of a wholesome meme to me. I love this. This is great. So this says, when your friends post a selfie on IG, which is a short term for Instagram, right? And it's a picture of a doll with a bunch of hearts and smiley faces and rainbows and flowers, and she's clearly just amazed and dazed. And I think a lot of times we take these dolls or these images from different contexts where it's like a very like romantic focused love, right? And we reapply them in the context of wholesome memes to how we really care about the people around us, regardless of if we're in a romantic partnership with them. So
Yeah, great.
I love this. I love this.
There was a few more reaction memes on Twitter. Do we want to see those, or do we want to?
Sure. I mean, because we started like 10 minutes late, right? So I think we're doing good on
I
time.
think we could talk to somebody who participated in this here as well.
Sure.
Let's check the discussion forum.
Okay. So, ooh, is that thunder I hear outside?
When you're at Memapalooza
Yeah.
and the thunder strikes.
So while we're waiting for more memes to come in, originally we had planned on having people vote on the memes, like vote on the best memes. I don't think that's necessary here. I think the memes are coming in, we're talking about them. If you feel like you have an awesome meme that we haven't talked about, let us know.
Yeah.
Like literally, you can come up to us and say, "Hey, dude, like you're
Check
letting
this
me down
one
over
out.
here," or you can tweet.
We're watching
or,
on the Twitter thread. We're watching on the YouTube.
Yeah.
If you have any comments, I just said the YouTube.
right on the
Something I said out loud. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to
Perfect.
Victor Allen. Did you make this one's really yours? Really that post? Okay, so
Is that the full text? Yeah, it is. Okay.
I should make a meme. Speak to this one. You?
Oh, me?
yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, it's very Again, I think it sort of connotes that image that the meme we reviewed earlier of the naked mole rat versus the really what's the good word to just erudite rat man?
Yeah.
I think that sort of is also the same context here for this cat. We normally think of cats, especially online, in a really silly kind of ridiculous context, and this is ridiculous too, but in its own way, a little bit more of a ridiculous because of how serious this cat is, right?
An Aristocat, right?
Aristocat. Oh,
deciding
no.
how should I spend my day today? Okay.
And by the way, Victor Allen is willing to talk to us about participating in this meeting.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Is
yeah.
that something that he would take my mic, or would he take one from you all?
Either way, or actually, if they just sit in the middle,
Okay.
then we'll be okay.
Okay.
Oh,
So
perfect.
so in a few minutes, we're going to call some of
Okay.
our participants up and chat with them as well.